It is never a dull moment in the sports world, is it? Whether it's football, whether it's golf, basketball, baseball, hockey, my gosh, there's always something going on, and we got a whole lot to talk about tonight. It is Wednesday night, it is 10 p.m., and it's Wednesday Night Live with WAT2K99. And I dare you to just hear that song and not just be jamming just a little bit to it. That's just a good guitar, isn't it? Well, welcome to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm WAT2K99. Thank you for joining me tonight for Wednesday Night Live. I think it's episode number 13, the Baker's Dozen. So we have made it here, and I'm so glad that you took the time from your busy Wednesday nights to join me and to hear me rant, complain, extol the virtues of various things going on in the world of New York sports. Obviously, we're going to spend a lot of time on the Jets tonight. We got some Jets trivia coming up for you at 11 p.m. I'm going to aim to do it pretty much right at 11 because I'm just going to let you all know. All right, guys, I got to be up at 2 a.m. I got to drive. Here's the deal. I got to drive an hour from where I live in Newport News, Virginia, just exotic Newport News, Virginia, a town that's best known for producing Allen Iverson and Michael Vick. Okay. Drive up to Richmond, take a plane to Charlotte at 5:15 in the morning, then a plane from Charlotte to Hartford. And then so my plan is, I'm actually going to let you know, I'm planning to go to the Basketball Hall of Fame tomorrow for the first time in my life. Now, basketball, I admit, is my fourth sport, but I'm really excited to check it out. Hoping as long as these flights work out, I'll be able to go. And then I got to drive 2 hours east out to the North Shore of we got a lot of Jets fans in here. And let's be favorite, the armpit of America, Boston, Massachusetts. Well, actually, Boston's not too bad. It's Foxborough that's really the armpit of America, you know? So I think we're going to keep this pretty much close to an hour tonight. Don't know if I'm going to go too much later, but I'll still be doing my videos over the course. I'm bringing my computer. We'll be doing all of that recording, just like Jake asked. We can record on location, right? Buffalo Jets fan in the car. We could record in all kinds of places. When technology works out, it's fantastic. Hank G, hi everyone, and hi to you as well, my friend. Jets mess, man. Jets mess is always the first one to be here. Jets mess always beats me to my own show. Yeah, so let's see one of these days who can beat Jets mess into the show. Yeah, I will do my best to have some fun. I will say this, I do not plan on packing any Jets gear for this trip. It's so bad, I may have to pack a Mets shirt or something. It is just bad right now. Oh, my God. All right, well, we're going to get into the Jets in a little bit, but first let's talk about what's on my mind with a little bit of 3 and out. So the Ryder Cup tees off on Friday. Now, I am not the biggest golf fan in the world. I don't follow golf every week, but I get into the majors, and I definitely get into the Ryder Cup when the U.S. takes on Europe. It tees off Friday, 1:30 Eastern time in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to be up to watch the opening shots, but it's going to be at Marco Simone course outside Rome, Italy. The United States has not beaten Europe on foreign soil, not beaten them in Europe since 1993, 30 years now. There have been 6 competitions since. They've never done it. Just this week in Spain, the U.S. women had a 4-0 lead on Europe in the Solheim Cup. They blew it. They lost that. Yeah, and no American golfer in this competition has ever played Marco Simone in a competition before. It's going to be pretty important. Now, with the American team, I like that you got a couple of young players and some veterans. You got 4 rookies, you got 4 second-year players, and you got 4 what we'll call veterans, more than 1 year. Okay, so you got a good mix of youth and experience. I like that. And with the Live Tour prop coming up the way it has, you've seen a lot of changing of the guard. For the United States, I'm very disappointed Patrick Reed isn't around anymore. I loved watching Patrick Reed play golf. I loved his attitude. I loved his character. He didn't give enough, man. He didn't. Patrick Reed's got attitude. Like he's like in a black and white world of golf. He's the color red. That's what Patrick Reed was. But you also lost Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, and on the Europe side, you lose guys like Sergio Garcia, Ian Poulter, who's an amazing Ryder Cup player. Henrik Stenson, Martin Keimer, guys like that. So you're gonna have a lot of new players here. There's, I think, 8 or 9 rookies in the competition out of the 24 golfers. I'm going to be very interested to follow this. I really, really hope the United States can bring the Ryder Cup back home and win it in my mother country of Italy. All right. Now, as far as that's number one, as far as Shohei Ohtani goes, man, there's been some news coming out about him. Yeah, there really, really has been. I'm going to say a quick couple of comments in the chat. Althea Bartlett, I have no idea who this is, but hello to you. Hope you're doing well on tour. Hi, Mom. David D, greetings to you as well, my friend. Thanks for coming in. We got the great Billy SBC. Detroit beat Kansas City. We can beat Kansas City. Billy, Travis Kelce and Chris Jones are playing this game. It's a little bit of a different scenario. Plus, you've got Taylor Swift there, who's good. Seriously, what are there going to be more of in this game? Total Jets yards or Taylor Swift close-ups on NBC? I think it's going to run neck and neck. I'm thinking maybe about 40, 50 yards for the Jets in this game and about 500 Taylor Swift close-ups. It's going to be enough to make you puke in your suit. Isn't it right now? My God. Hang G, Sergio Garcia is too old. He had a great run, though. Yeah, he really did. He got out just in time, unlike Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. That's how I would say that. But Shohei Ohtani in the world of baseball. So Ken Rosenthal has reported that the Mets and the Dodgers are the early front runners to sign the generational player, combination hitter and slugger from Japan. Hitter and slugger. That's the same thing, isn't it? Hitter and pitcher from Japan. So the deal with him is he's going to have his UCL and his elbow worked on. He's not going to be pitching next year. Just not going to happen. But he will be able to hit and then pitch again in 2025. The talk has been he was going to command the highest salary in the history of baseball per year. And when you can hit and pitch the way that Ohtani can, it's well-deserved. Plus, you have the marketing capability. He's a brand maker. He brings attention. People come to the ballpark to watch Ohtani play. And now let's see what happens. Now, this is the second UCL issue he's had, and he's not even 30 years old. It would be a great idea for any team to sign Ohtani, but here's the thing with the Mets. Their offseason cannot be just Shohei Ohtani. In my mind, they still need 3 starting pitchers going into next year's rotation. You have Kodai Senga. I'm glad they got him. You have Jose Quintana. I'm glad they got him. I really wanted the Mets to sign both of those pitchers, but I never expected going into 2024 that Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander would both be gone. So you're going to have to sign multiple starting pitchers, and Ohtani is not going to be able to provide that in 2024. So to me, you could sign him, but then you got to really focus on the pitching. And to me, I'd rather focus on building a deep pitching staff, and that includes the rotation and the bullpen for the New York Metropolitans. And number 3, to the sport of hockey. So a seemingly innocent Sunday morning scrimmage this past weekend for the New York Rangers almost turned catastrophic when Mika Zibanejad, hunched over in pain, was hit by a stick, was taken to the locker room, and he was skating for several days in a non-contact jersey. The extent of the injury has never been revealed, which it never is really in hockey. He seems to be okay, but I got to tell you, as most of you know, here are my teams, okay? I root for the Mets. I root for the Jets. I root for the Knicks. I root for the Rangers. And in college basketball, I kind of like NC State. I grew up liking Syracuse. But those are really my teams. That is who I root for. So after seeing Edwin Diaz with the Mets go down to a season injury in the worthless baseball classic, you had Aaron Rodgers, enough said, I don't need to say it again. What happened with him? Why would I not think things would happen in threes and that some prominent Ranger is going to go down before the season starts in 2 weeks? This is exactly what I'm afraid is going to happen. Now, Artemi Panarin and Filip Chytil, they've had some minor injuries. They should be okay. Of course, they're day to day. But let's see what winds up happening. Because as bad a year as 2023 has been, especially in the sports world, why would I not think there is another disaster coming my way over the next 3 months? Okay. But anyway, last night I watched the Rangers and the Islanders play a preseason game. Rangers win 4-2. The Rangers scored 3 goals in the first, I believe, 4 or 5 minutes. They just blitzkrieged the Islanders. And then the Islanders kind of settled in. They've kind of found their game in the Garden. Rangers come out on top. I liked what I saw from Brennan Othmann, who's either the Rangers' first or second best prospect. He played alongside Vincent Trocheck and Capo Caco, had a great hit on Islanders defenseman Sebastian Aho. I think you're going to see a big role from Brennan Othmann as the season comes on. I don't think he's going to start with the team by any means, but I think before the season is over, Brennan Othmann could be that late addition to the Rangers roster that can take them to another level. I love his spiciness and his ability to play offense and defense. All right, we're going to get into the Jets content in just one moment, but let's see what else is happening here in the chat. Billy SBC, Taylor Swift better play offensive tackle for Kansas City because our boys are coming. Oh, they are. Yeah. They didn't exactly do it against New England. And I'm going to talk about the defense. We could talk about the coaches, we could talk about the quarterback, but I am going to talk about this defense. Kelsey could be trouble for our defense. Hank, he is trouble for anybody's defense. He may be the best receiving tight end that we have seen in decades. He's probably better than Tony Gonzalez. I think he's faster than Tony Gonzalez personally. But as far as a receiving tight end goes, I don't know if there's a better one. Gronkowski, maybe so. But Mahomes to Kelsey, yeah, that's the equivalent of Montana to Rice with a wide receiver tight end combination. And we'll see what the Jets do to try to defend him. Now, here's the thing. My opinion, we're getting into the Jets content right now. What the heck? We know the Jets do not believe in shadowing. They do not believe in the concept of taking their best defensive back and putting him on the other team's best offensive weapon or their best receiver. But if ever a time was to come when it would happen, it is going to be this Sunday night when the whole world will be watching. Sauce Gardner, in this case to me, has to follow Travis Kelce for the vast majority of this game. Guys, how worried can you be over Mark Valdez-Scantling? How worried can you be over Justin Watson, who's the leading receiver on the Chiefs right now? Are you that worried over Rashee Rice? Very good young raw player, but has a long way to go. You have a lot of good receivers, but here's the thing with the Kansas City offense. Patrick Mahomes knows how to spread the ball around. He recognizes defense, and he delivers the ball accurately. Something that we haven't seen a Jets quarterback do in quite a while. Not in quite a while. So, yeah, but Travis Kelce is just a beast. I would put sauce on him because I don't trust any of these safeties to do it. Billy SBC, the Jets' history is to lose the games they're supposed to win and win the games they're supposed to lose. Watch the Jets with Kansas City 35-7 and have you wondering just what you have with this team. Okay, Hank, my first question. What are the Jets? Is the defense scoring 5 touchdowns? How is this going to happen? Are we going to be are 3 of the touchdowns going to be on special teams? I cannot. They could play this game 100 times. I think Kansas City would win 99 of them. Yeah, this is just one of those games. I expect the worst. I expect national TV humiliation on Sunday Night Football. It's exactly what I expect, even in wearing those beautiful white throwback uniforms. I just don't see how this could not go well. I just don't. Yeah, they can't truly dash your hopes unless they get them very high. Our hopes were high in August. Right up until September 11th around, what have been about 8:20, 8:25 p.m. when Aaron Rodgers went down. Hopes. It's like the Who sang at Evidence Run. Hopes are dashed and people forget they're hiding. So yeah, I broke out a little Who there for you. So, not that anybody is paying me to do some karaoke. Jets mess with the question: who was the worst contract signing, Dwayne Brown or Carl Lawson? I'm going to say Dwayne Brown. See, I look at Carl Lawson a little bit differently because to me, he got hurt. If he hadn't gotten hurt, if he hadn't blown his Achilles and now hurt his back, I think Lawson is just at this point injury prone. I think we can finally write the script on that. And yeah, I will talk about Lawson a little bit later. And I credit Dwayne Brown for doing what he did, for playing last year with a torn rotator cuff on offensive line. But Lawson's likely going to be gone after this year, as will Dwayne Brown. Uh, the Lawson one to me, with Dwayne Brown, we knew what we were going to get, an older offensive tackle who can provide some leadership. But tore out his shoulder. Lawson's not much different, except it was an Achilles, which I think took a lot of his quickness and acceleration. Now maybe he's still working his way back, because now he also has the back problem as well. But to me, the Lawson contract was a contract worth signing. Injuries don't change that, because you can't predict a player is going to get injured unless it happens to him habitually. And even though Lawson had dealt with one serious injury before, he was really looking amazing in preseason until he went down on that field. I think it was against Green Bay when they were doing the scrimmage, and yeah, that was a heartbreaking day. It was a heartbreaking day for the Jets, and it's if his career winds up being compromised because of it, it's that much more of a what could have been. And yeah, that's really a bummer. This talk, Billy SBC, this talk of Ryan Tannehill coming here, I don't see it. I don't either. I have no interest in Ryan Tannehill. I think he is absolutely done at this point. I actually would trust Trevor Siemian about as much as I would trust Ryan Tannehill. The last year or so, I think Tannehill's game has slipped rather remarkably. He hasn't had a ton of work with in Tennessee outside of Derrick Henry, but now everything's falling apart. The offensive line's taking a step back. DeAndre Hopkins is not healthy. And Ryan Tannehill is not a quarterback who's going to elevate the rest of the offense. You have to have the pieces around there to elevate Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. To me, I don't have any interest. I mean, if it was like a 6th-round pick, maybe that's about as much as I would ever give up for Ryan Tannehill. I would really like to have Kirk Cousins, but I still think Minnesota would want a 1st-round pick. And again, it's not going to happen unless the Vikings drop to 0-5 or something like that. They have to be legitimately out of the race, I think, for them to trade Cousins. And if the Jets could pull it off for a mid-round pick, okay. But are the Jets still going to be in the race? Are the Jets, still going to be hanging in there? Because if the Jets are, say, 1-5, which they very well could be going into the bye week, why are they trading for a quarterback? What would the point be? So instead of instead of finishing, 3-14, you'll finish just 6-11. Is that what I'm supposed to hang my hat on as a Jets fan? So yeah, I don't see Tannehill coming here. I don't see any other quarterback coming here at all. And keep this in mind: let's just say the Jets are playing well. Let's say they actually, by the grace of Almighty God, win 2 of these next 3 games against Kansas City, Denver, and Philly, and they go in 3-3 to the bye. Zach Wilson's got to play somewhat decent, doesn't he? If the Jets are going to win those games somewhat decently, he has to show you something, I would think. So if then that's the case, then why are they making the trade too? So yeah, to me, I think the Jets wanted to bring in a quarterback that wouldn't cause a disturbance, wouldn't cause a ruckus, and the fans wouldn't be screaming, say, put this guy in and bench Zach immediately. So I think that's why they signed Trevor Siemian. And I'm going to give you some stats on Siemian a little bit later on tonight. Billy SBC, is Kirk Cousins going to want to turn the Jets back over to Aaron Rodgers should he get the team into the playoffs, just hand the Super Bowl ring over? Well, Cousins is a free agent after the season. So that's something to keep in mind. So maybe Minnesota, if they have a bad season, will want to cash out and get something back for him as opposed to just, like a draft pick or something like that, like a comp pick down the road. So yeah, the Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, I have no worries about that whatsoever. Now, let's talk a little bit about this offense. I want to give you some numbers here. All right, I'm even going to put a slide on the board for you. I'd like to give you some visuals to, rather than me spout off a bunch of numbers, because I don't want to put you all in math class because I hated math. All right. But I would say Zach Wilson on Sunday played the worst quarterback game I have ever seen played where there were no turnovers involved by the offense. I would go that far. The Jets have scored 71 points in 7 games, but let's just focus on the last 2 weeks of offense against Dallas and New England, okay? 20 points scored total, 10 points per game, 284 passing yards, That's not per game, guys. That's total. 5.2 yards per pass attempt. The running game, which this offense needs to be predicated on now, 102 yards total, 2.7 yards per rush attempt. The defenses know what's coming, and they're getting on it. Third down. This is what pisses me off. The third down marks both ways. The Jets are 3 of 24 on third down attempts, but keep this in mind. Their average yards to go on third down is almost 8, 7.96. So, of course, you're going to struggle on third down when it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. So that tells me you need better play calling and better execution on first and second down. And the Jets aren't doing that. To me, that's on the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. 40 quarterback pressures allowed in 2 games, 20 per game and 13 punts. But wait, the best is yet to come. I got more for you. All right, so in these 2 weeks, the Jets have had 24 total drives on offense. 17 of them, that is close to 75%, have ended either in a 3 and out or a turnover, or the downs for the Hail Mary to end the game. 17 of the 24 ended that way, and they are averaging 1 first down per drive. That is not an NFL offense, guys. Not an NFL offense. And when we look at where the blame really goes on this, I look at the running plays on first down. Like, to me, Nathaniel Hackett, he got dealt a bad hand. He came here expecting Aaron Rodgers. He got Aaron Rodgers, then he lost Aaron Rodgers. But a good offensive coordinator can adjust to the personnel he has and come up with an offense that is at least credible, where you feel like they might have a chance, where your goal is not to get 1 first down. A great drive for the Jets now is 1 freaking first down. So I'm going to give you a number or two here. All right. The first 3 quarters against New England, the Jets ran 13 plays on first down. 10 of them were runs. The Patriots knew it. It was Breece Hall right into the middle of the defensive line, down. It was Dalvin Cook right into the middle of the defensive line, down. No reverse, no counter, no motion, no receivers going in motion, no sweeps, none of that. And how many yards did those 10 run plays average? Less than 2 yards per attempt. So that puts you in 2nd and 8 immediately. You're already behind the 8 ball, and Zach feels like he needs to make something happen because now he needs to throw the ball, because rather than facing a 2nd and 3 or a 2nd and 4, you have 2nd and long already. And already your offense is, like I said, is behind. In this, I guess the 2 ball is what it would be. It's just really frustrating. So it's from beginning to end of these drives where it is just failing completely, and the opponents know it. A lot of us saw Willie Gay today of the Chiefs. Very good defensive player. He was asked, "What do you see with the Jets' offense?" And he hesitated. You could tell he was measuring his words. He had to watch himself with what he was going to say, and he said, "We know they want to run the ball." It's almost like the league, they know what's coming. They almost actually pity the Jets. It's like the league actually feels sorry for the New York Jets. And how sad it is. I don't want a person in the world feeling sorry for me. I want them to hate me. I want them to hate me because I wear the green and white and sometimes black. I want to be envied. I don't want to be pitied. And as I said, I'm on my way to Boston, and that's one reason I'm not wearing Jets gear. And I swear, every Tom Brady jersey, they're getting one of these. I can assure you. You got to be kidding me right now. And then to watch Zach Wilson, I'm watching with about 30 or 35 of the Virginia Jets fans, AJ Gators in Norfolk, Virginia. I walked in not feeling very confident in that game, but I felt the game was the Jets for the taking if they played their game and played well, because I felt the Jets were the more talented team. Oh my God, Rising Rhino, excuse me. Yeah, go check his channel out. He does a lot of live broadcasts, particularly football games. Yeah, definitely like and subscribe to Rhino. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you made it. Quick comment from Hank. Not that I want to defend Zach and our offense in any way, but we face the defenses of Buffalo, Dallas, and New England. How are they ranked in the league? Hey, they're all excellent defenses. And you know what? Kansas City is pretty much as good. Do you know Kansas City has given up the 4th fewest passing yards per game so far? I know it's a 3-game sample, but guys, Kansas City is more than just Patrick Mahomes, and more than Travis Kelce, and more than that interior offensive line, and more than one of the best head coaches of this generation. They could play defense, guys. They really can. And you know what? I mean, we'll see. Put it this way: if the Jets can't move the ball on the Giants and the Chargers after the bye week, all bets are off. But still, something has to work. These offensive stats are just so ridiculous that to me, it hardly even matters what is going on with how good the defense is because this offense doesn't execute here at all. Man, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're about 727 right now. Yes, definitely want to get to 800. Onward and upward. Thank you so much, Rising Rhino. Yeah, definitely feel free to share the word. I definitely appreciate that. Oh, let's put a little ticker down there. Yeah, let's do that. Please like, share, and subscribe. 11 p.m. We will do Jets trivia, so definitely hang around for that. I got a Jets Chiefs trivia question for you tonight that I'm pretty excited to share. But that last drive, not the Hail Mary drive, but the one before that, where the Jets had they had the ball, I think 2 timeouts, I think they had to work with, and Zach Wilson, for as crappy a job as he had done, he had a chance to turn everything right around on that drive to take the Jets like 90 yards, drive them for a touchdown, and he would have been a hero. He really would have been. And, sack, bail out of the pocket. But fourth and 10 in the fourth quarter, and he throws 1 yard, a check down pass to Ty Conklin with an open receiver because Zach Wilson has been neutered. He is so afraid to make a mistake that he has become the ultimate West Coast offense quarterback. He tries to be a West Coast offense quarterback, except he can't execute it because his strengths are his arm strength and his legs. 2 things that the West Coast offense basically prohibits you from taking advantage of. It's about reading reading a defense, timing, accuracy. Everything that Zach Wilson doesn't do well, the Jets have him doing. What are we doing, Nathaniel Hackett, Todd Downing, Robert Saleh? What the hell? You got to be kidding me. It's a 1 yard pass to Tyler Conklin, not Travis Kelce. No, Tyler Conklin, an average tight end, and praying he could break 3 or 4 tackles. It's playing not to lose, and that's what I can't accept. Because who has a great season when they just played not to lose? Nobody ever does. Nobody in any sport on any level has ever won a championship coaching out of fear. No one. And that's what I see from this coaching staff. And that's what I got a problem with. And then you have with Zach, he's averaging 3.22 seconds per pass from snap to throw, slowest in the league. And like I said, missing one open receiver after another. So even as mad as I am at the coaching staff, this is why I put Zach above them in terms of on the blame chart. Because it should not be up to Robert Saleh. It should not be up to Hackett. It should not be up to Todd Downing to say, okay, Zach, young man. This is Robert Saleh talking. Young man. All right, I know the crows are on you, young man. What you've got to do is look for the open receiver, and you throw that F for the ball. The open receiver, you throw him the ball, right? A coach should not have to tell a quarterback to look for the open receiver and throw him the damn ball. And it feels like that's what they have to do. A Pop Warner coach should be able to coach Zach Wilson right now. That's not their job. Zach Wilson should be smart enough to be able to do that. But he's terrible. He is no better now than he was in the disasters against Jacksonville and Seattle last season. No better. Now, credit to a few places. Credit to the offensive line. I thought they had a much better game. Definitely at the pass blocking. Joe Tippmann. I love it. Right guard. First game ever. No pressures allowed in his debut. Very good running blocking as well. AVT. 1 pressure allowed at right tackle. Very, very good as well. Hopefully, this is the offensive line we see going forward. So I was quite happy with what I saw. Now, here's the thing: the Jets. Here's another stat for you about the pressure, because this is interesting to me. Okay, the Jets have allowed pressure on 36% of their dropbacks. That's tied for the most, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the average time the quarterback has in the pocket before throwing or being pressured is 2.7 seconds. That's tied for the highest in football. Here's what that means. Zach Wilson is causing a lot of this pressure himself because he doesn't get rid of the freaking football. The offensive line cannot be expected to hold it for 6 or 7 seconds. Zach Wilson eventually has to get the ball out of his hand. And that reflects badly on the whole offense when he has the football IQ of frozen yogurt. Couple other comments. Hank G agreed. Hopefully Simeon installed after the bye week. I would be good with it. Trevor Simeon is at least a capable NFL quarterback at this point. DFF1234, thanks for the $2. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, super chat and super thanks are open. Zach, stay healthy. Keep your money. Retire. Yep. Hey, yeah, he could go find all the MILFs and Cougars that he wants after this. And I don't mean BYU either. Thanks, DFF. I appreciate you, man. I really do. Now, as far as the defense goes, I'm not letting them get off scot-free in this game either, okay, because I hold them to a high standard. I expect a top 5 defense in football, and right now, to me, they are distinctly average. All right? You can't blame the time of possession this time, like when the Cowboys had the ball for, 41, 42 minutes last week? Not this time. The Jets had the ball for 28 minutes. It was actually quite close. Now, the Patriots only scored 13 points, but if the Patriots still had Nick Folk, it would have been 19 points. Okay? And I know they kept the Patriots out of the red zone. That's all well and good. But here are the stats that really upset me, okay? The Jets had 5 quarterback hits all game long, 3 of them by Quinnen Williams, not a single sack. Not a single sack against the likes of Cole Strange, who was hurt, against Calvin Anderson. Now, I felt they got away with some holds in this game. The first third down, the first of many third down conversions the Patriots had, I thought Calvin Anderson had 2 handfuls of Bryce Huff jersey, just like this. Referees, of course, didn't call it. Matt Jones throws to Mike Gesicki. He gets 16 yards, and boom, the Patriots go down the field to open up the scoring with a field goal. Jets mess. He didn't say the 85 Chicago Bears. He just said the 85 Bears. I think maybe he meant like the 85 University of California Bears. I think those are the Bears he was talking about. I was so disappointed in that defensive line. I mean, Quinnen did a little bit, but yeah, I expected so much better from this defensive line. I am really, really frustrated with them. But no sacks. I did not think there would be a single game this year the Jets would not have a sack. And they couldn't sack Mac Jones, who is not exactly Lamar Jackson in the huddle, okay? But here's the other stat over the last 2 games that is really bothering me, okay? Out of 35 third downs that the opposing offense has had, the offense has converted 17 of those 35 third downs, Dallas and New England. These are not the best offenses in football, guys. This is not Kansas City. This is not Cincinnati. This is not Philadelphia. It's not those teams. This is not Miami. This is Dak Prescott and Mac Jones-led offenses. A great defense, guys, will get off the field. A great defense hits the quarterback, turns the other team over, and gets the offense off the ball in an efficient manner. And this defense doesn't do that. They are creating their own problems because they can't get off the field on third down often enough. They might hold the field goal attempts, but how about reversing the field? How about pinning the offense inside their own red zone, forcing them to punt the ball from their own end zone, and maybe setting the Jets up around midfield? The Jets had 1 drive last week, midfield or better. Didn't go anywhere, of course, but still the point remains the same. David D., do you believe Zach could play a position in the NFL that isn't quarterback effectively? No. I don't know what Zach Wilson can run a little bit, like a personal punt protector thing, maybe, but I don't think his body is going to hold up enough. He's more of a slight, figure. He's not like Josh Allen where he has like extra bulk on him. I don't know what he could do. You know what he could do? He can hold. He could be the holder for the kicks, for field goals. I would feel pretty confident that Zach could catch the ball and put the ball down effectively. He could do that. Other than that, no. We did week 1, but, Josh Allen made some pretty dumb decisions. Yeah. You think we're turning over Patrick Mahomes twice? Russell Wilson? I don't know. Jalen Hurts? I doubt it. Justin Herbert, Daniel Jones, all these other quarterbacks coming up on the schedule. Tua? Man, oh, man. Yeah, they forced 4 turnovers in one game, and I don't think they've had one since. Really, really frustrating. Now, as far as Robert Saleh goes, I want to talk about him for a moment here. Uh, a lot of people were really getting on Coach Saleh because he was backing Zach Wilson. I just don't understand what people were expecting Robert Saleh to do in the press conference. Now, if you're angry with Saleh about how he conducted himself in the press conference, put a comment down there. I'm curious as to why. But we know Saleh does not knock his players during a press conference. It doesn't happen. The closest he will come is when they asked him, is there a chance you might get a quarterback this week? The previous week he said no. This week he said that's a joke question. Joe Douglas is not going to speak during the season. Maybe one time. One time, maybe that's it during the bye. That's it. But Joe Douglas does not do interviews unless he has to. Okay? But when Robert Saleh said that's a joke question, you could have known right then and there that a quarterback was coming in. Less than 24 hours, Trevor Siemian makes his triumphant return to Florham Park. Saleh backed up Dwayne Brown last week for all week. He said he was going to play. It was gamesmanship. He knew the whole time Dwayne Brown wasn't going to play. They were practicing with Mekhi Becton at left tackle all week long. They knew what the deal was. Coaches have to lie in these press conferences. It's gamesmanship. It's just the nature of the beast. We know Zach Wilson is going to play this week. Trevor Siemian will not be active. So, I mean, as far as how we evaluate a head coach, I really don't care about what they say in a press conference. Okay, it's another thing. I care about the clock management, keeping the team focused, all that kind of stuff. And the thing with Saleh, he talks a lot about being kind of like the CEO of the team, being this administrative guy, the overseer. But it seems to me Saleh does not get very granular with the X's and O's. That's my understanding of it. After year one, he was asked on WFAN, what's the biggest thing that you plan to do differently in year two versus year one? And what he was talking about was he didn't understand how administrative being a head coach was in the NFL. He really is trusting his coordinators to design the specific, the X's and O's, the strategies, the formations. So to me, he is about keeping the focus of the team in the right direction through the face of adversity, and he's not going to get too granular with these details. So then we look at the snap counts and what's been going on. Okay, so this is where I blame Nathaniel Hackett more than I blame Robert Saleh. Jets mess. Does Zach know Saleh's lying? Yeah. Zach's an intelligent kid. Not football intelligent, but he's intelligent in general. He knows. So I look at the usage of personnel, and to me, this is all on Nathaniel Hackett. Saleh has said himself, we want to get certain players more involved in the game. But Jeremy Ruckert had the same number of snaps in this game as Max Mitchell and Billy Turner. They all had 1 snap apiece. Mecole Hardman had 2. Nick Bawden had 5. One of which I believe was the touchdown. But then you got CJ Uzomah with 28, Randall Cobb with 46. Hey, newsflash: without Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb is a waste on this roster. Randall Cobb does not do anything on this team unless you want to have him as that emergency quarterback. But as far as a wide receiver, I don't need to see him on the field again. Try Brownlee, try Gibson. You kept these kids for a reason, and it better not be because you were scared of letting them go to another team like you let so many other players go last year, like Jason Pinnock, for instance, like Trevon Wesco, like guys like that. You can't keep players just because you're afraid to lose them. You keep players because you believe in them and you feel like they can make a difference. Yeah, we want to see a head coach, and Saleh's doing that. That's exactly what's going on. But at some point, pardon me, when the offense is failing, when you are getting the fewest yards per game out of any team in the National Football League, when you have an offense that is so bad, it wouldn't even pass for an XFL team, you have to say, hey, Nathaniel, take the clipboard of your place and shove it you know where. Eventually, Saleh has to say, you got to start changing some things up because this shit ain't working. And it's not. Saleh said today he wanted to utilize Mecole Hardman's speed, but he said there's a lot of guys that are trying to get on the field. Oh, really? Who is that? Dalvin Cook? CJ Uzomah? Randall Cobb? Some useless relic? some indispensable statue that would have been better on this team 5 years ago? What are we doing? This isn't working, and changes are needed for Sunday night, guys, or we are going to get one of those, our annual national TV humiliation that we are so used to as Jets fans. Kansas City, their players, their coaches, their fans, their broadcasters, their popcorn vendors, their bar managers, all of them, they are licking their chops like a pack of pit bulls surrounding a three-legged cat. And you look at the defense too. So I'll look at the defensive counts too. John Franklin Myers, I'm going to look at the defensive line. JFM, 47 snaps. Jermaine Johnson, where's the preseason Jermaine Johnson? Can somebody tell me that? I missed the preseason Jermaine Johnson. Because that was a heck of a lot better than the Jermaine Johnson we've seen through the first 3 games. Maybe he should change his number back to 52. Maybe he should. Hey, John Nolte. Yep, I got a little bit of rage inside me. Yeah, my rages are like a geyser. They start calm and then they build up. You just got to be there for the eruption. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson, 44 snaps, barely noticeable. Michael Clemens, 27 snaps. I mean, he's a good run stopper, but let's be honest, he's not a pass rusher. Bryce Huff had 16. I think Will McDonald had like 11, so at least he did play in this game, but he wouldn't do much of anything. Carl Lawson, only 15 snaps. He is not right now. Honestly, I'd have put him on IR because he just isn't contributing to this team right now. I would sit him for a month and let some of these other guys play. Give Huff some more snaps. Give McDonald some more snaps. And let's see what happens. But Carl Lawson right now is not contributing to this team. I don't think he's able to. I just don't. D-line was low-key good last week, just couldn't get home. Well, if they're not getting home, hey, Dom, good to see you, my friend. If they're not getting home, then what exactly are they doing well? I mean, they weren't stopping the run very well. Ezekiel Elliott was looking pretty good last I checked in that game. Stevenson didn't do a whole lot out of the running game, but I'm sorry, you had 5 quarterback hits. Okay, total. 3 of them were from Quinnen Williams. That's not acceptable against this offense. I'm sorry. It just, for me, that was not a good enough performance. Just wasn't. And again, if you are generating pressure on third down, maybe the Patriots aren't converting 50% of those third down opportunities. So that's my thought on there. All right, couple thoughts here on Trevor Siemian. Here's how I really feel about it. It's very funny with certain Jets fans online. Here on Monday, the Jets fans were saying any quarterback would be an upgrade over Zach Wilson. Bring in anybody. Tuesday, they bring in Trevor Siemian. Not him. That's not who I had in mind. John, I'm going to go back to this. When he tore his Achilles, that was it. He needed 2 surgeries on that Achilles. It took away a lot of his explosiveness. Yeah, he's not good against the run. Absolutely true. But I think the Achilles and now is back. He just came here and got hurt. It sucks. He was. I still think he was going to be a fantastic player until that Achilles just took him out. I will always believe that. I will always believe that. Pressure. Got home in less than 3 seconds on a lot of the snaps. Kudos to New England and that scumbag Matt Jones for getting rid of the ball quick. I didn't like the coverage. I felt there were a lot of soft zones. Like Demario Douglas, the receiver from Liberty, not far from me in Virginia. That was a big third down conversion. Don't forget that third down conversion. I highlighted this on my 3 key plays video that I recorded on Monday. That third down conversion where Jones was able to float the ball in between 2 Jets defenders, convert, I think it was like a 3rd and 8 or something like that. And on the next play, we saw Pharaoh, let my people go. And they let him go all the way to the end zone. It's like the Jets defense parted the waters, and there goes Pharaoh Brown straight to the promised land known as the end zone at MetLife Stadium. I'm sorry. I was not happy with what I saw from this defensive line at all. Were they held at times? Yes, they were. But I'm sorry. 5 quarterback hits and no sacks just ain't doing it for me. It just isn't. Because if they were really creating pressure, then Jones wouldn't have had as good a day as he did. Now, with Siemian, I feel like he has made a career off one good season in Denver back in 2016. And you know what? God bless him for it. Now, a lot of the teams around him have been horrible. I mean, think about it. He started for the Bears against the Jets last season, and how do the Bears look now? The Bears haven't won a game in 11 months, and they're no better than last year. My goodness. I mean, the one thing you could say about Zach Wilson, no other quarterback behind him looks all that great. There's really not another quarterback. Trey Lance gone. Justin Fields, Chicago wishes he was gone. Mac Jones, as soon as the Patriots have a chance to upgrade from him, they will. To the point where Blaine Zappi, Bailey Zappi took his job nearly last year. Come on, you think Mac Jones is going to turn into a backup within 3 years and float around the league? There is no doubt in my mind. No doubt. I don't know. Sauce just doesn't make sense. Yeah, his tackling is turning into Deion Sanders. Yeah, he's playing back a little bit more. I don't know if it's the defensive scheme or what it is. I mean, put it this way: Sauce should only be the Jets' biggest problem. It isn't, in my mind. I'm a little bit more worried about it. Put it this way: it's all about the defense creating the pressure with the front four because they don't really blitz much. They rarely blitz. Let's put it that way. And that in turn sets up the rest of the defense. So I mean, I'm not worried about Sauce right now, really, but yeah, it's a step back, but not a step back to the point where I'm really worried about him. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was the jackpot. He hadn't looked too good this season. Man, what's going on with Jacksonville? I'll tell you what, I thought Houston would be okay this year. I thought Houston would win maybe 6 games, but going down to Jacksonville and beating them by 2 touchdowns, I didn't see that one coming. Yeah, CJ Stroud looks pretty good. He looks pretty freaking good, that guy. But more than that, D'Amico Ryans looks like a very good NFL coach. So yeah, I got a good feeling about the Houston Texans going forward. I thought they would finish second in the division this year in the AFC South, and that could very well happen. New York, no Steamers. I am really happy with Quincy. He has definitely stepped his game up. After signing his contract, he has looked that much more confident, that much more fierce. You don't see the bad angles to the ball like you saw. Quincy Williams and Jordan Whitehead have both stepped their games up a little bit. Oh, C.J. Mosley letting that interception basically go right through his hands. Yeah, yep. That was the other thing. When you have an offense this bad, the defense has to take advantage of any opportunity it gets to turn the other team over, and the Jets couldn't do it against New England. So frustrating that so close yet so far away. And Sauce with the drop pick six. I think we're kind of ruminating on the Sauce drop pick 6 against Dallas because that kind of really, once that happened, you kind of knew it wasn't the Jets' day. If you didn't know it before then you really did. And I think hopefully that is not the play that comes to define the 2023 season for Sauce Gardner. So, but I'll give you a couple of stats on Trevor Siemian. So 2016 was really his best season. He played 14 games, completed 60% of his passes, 18 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Sounds good to me. 3,401 yards. Here's what I like: 3 fourth-quarter comebacks and 2 game-winning drives in the last 5 minutes. So he was able to come through in big moments for Denver. He was sacked 31 times, so about 2 per game. Had a 49.7 QBR, quarterback rating. Now, since then, 2017 to 2022, he's played 20 games. Okay, so about 25% more. He's completed 58% of his passes, a little bit less. 24 touchdowns to 18 interceptions, still an acceptable ratio. 3,626 yards, just 1 fourth-quarter comeback, 1 game-winning drive, sacked 46 times, and his quarterback rating has never been higher than 35. So the QBR has gone down by quite a bit. But again, I think it has a lot to do with him playing with some really, really bad teams in New Orleans and in Chicago as well. So, with a little bit of a better supporting cast, maybe he can just do just enough. Hey, Baker Mayfield's making it work in Tampa Bay. They've done pretty well. He's been able to make that happen. Gardner Minshew seemingly can go to any team and give them a little bit of a spark. So maybe Trevor Siemian can do that. I think he's on the active roster if Zach struggles again over the next 2 weeks. I think he's on the active roster for the Philadelphia game, the game before the bye. And then if it doesn't work out, then I could see Siemian coming into that game. But if he's not the starting quarterback for the Giants after the bye, I will be very surprised. To sum it up, Wilson sees one wide receiver per dropback, Simeon sees two. Good way to say it, John. Good way to say it. Now, I got to be honest with you at this point of this point in the show, guys. I thought the whole season I would be doing a breakdown of the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. Like kind of a look what's going on around the AFC East. The way I'm feeling right now, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to break down all three AFC East teams? I mean, I'll resume doing it if it's something that you all would like me to do. But I have gotten to the point where I am just so annoyed. I actually pulled up Tankathon. That's right. Now I know it's a little bit and maybe a little bit small, but basically just to break it down, there are four winless teams right now: the Bears, the Broncos, the Vikings, and the Panthers. And then you've got a bunch of 1 and 2 teams: the Chargers, the Raiders, the Texans, the Titans, Bengals, Jaguars, Jets, Patriots, Cardinals, Giants, and Rams. So as of right now, the Jets would be drafting 11th overall. Let's see how it winds up changing. So what the heck? Maybe we'll just do a tankathon feature every week. Now, I'm not the one who's going to break down the prospects. I'm not going to be a poor man's Dom C. Dom knows what he's doing with that stuff. But I do like breaking down the schedule, things like that, and figuring out who to root for, who to root against. I know it's only 3 games into the season, but at this point, we know the Jets are going to be picking in the first round this year. So, hey, why not just for fun look at Tankathon every week? So I'll try to figure out a better format. We'll just kind of try to blow it up a little bit. And so right now the Jets would be picking 11. Let's see how that changes. All right. So it's 10:51 right now. I said we would do the trivia around 11, which is about 8-9 minutes away. But yeah, we don't. We're going to see if there's any other comments right now. If you have any questions, but if you want, we can just go ahead and get to the trivia right now and just get on it. Yeah, what the heck? I think we should just do some trivia right now. So step into the trivia. And as you know, when the season's going on, I'd like to give you a Jets trivia question that relates to the team that they are playing. So the rules are I'm going to give you 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes to get the answer, and we'll see if you can get it in the 5-minute allotted time. Okay, so I'm going to hit the start button. Your question is: name the 4 Jets who scored touchdowns in their 1986 playoff win and in the Meadowlands, not saying the name of the stadium, when they beat Kansas City in the wild card round before they played the Cleveland double overtime disaster. John Nolte. Yep, John Nolte. Instead of a path to the playoffs, it's a path to the mock draft. Yep, it pretty much is. I'm not going to be doing mock drafts here already, because I'm not going to pretend I know all these players outside of Caleb Williams. But we'll be looking at position, and let's see what happens. Yeah, the answer is not quite Brooks Bollinger. So that would be a no. All right, let's guess we have. John Nolte said Wesley Walker. Is it Wesley Walker? I'm afraid that is not correct. Wesley Walker did not score a touchdown in that game against the Chiefs. Okay, so 4 touchdowns. I will give you a hint. One of them was a defensive touchdown. See if that helps. Jets Mess says Freeman McNeil. Is Freeman McNeil correct? Not only is it correct, he scored 2 touchdowns that game. So Freeman McNeil was the one Jet twice. John Nolte having a little fun with Thomas Jones, Hank G with Wayne Corbett. Yes, Joey Corbett. Yes, Joey Corbett scored a touchdown for the Jets in 86. Hank G, I'm not much help with 80s questions. Well, there's Hank G, there's a wide receiver from the 80s that I think you might know. And Jets Mess guessed it. The name is Al Two. There we go. All right, so now you got 2 correct. One of the other 2 guys I mentioned, one was a defensive player, and one a touchdown kind of in garbage time. David D says Art Monk. Now, Art Monk was not a Jet in 1986. He was still with the Redskins. Can I say that on YouTube? Can you still say Redskins on YouTube and not get canceled? Just wondering. John Nolte, Curtis Springs. No, not Curtis Springs. Got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. All right. And again, while we're doing this, thanks everybody for checking out the show tonight. Definitely share it with your friends, and yeah, let's get more and more people into the chat every week, man. Love doing the show, having a great time doing it. We've done this is episode 13, and hey, let's take it to 130, 1300. Let's just keep doing it. Yeah, because we can't commiserate together. It's better than commiserating alone, isn't it? What else can I say? Okay, so again, name the 4 Jets who have scored touchdowns in their 1986 playoff win over Kansas City. You got Freeman McNeil and you got Al Toon, and one of the other 2 players played defense. It was on an interception return. John Nolte said Lance Mellon. Yeah, Lance Mellon was a really good linebacker. I think that was the year, though, he blew out his knee and never played again. Yeah, I think Lance Mel got hurt that season. Joe Klecko got hurt during that season. Lance Mel did too. Yeah, the Jets were really beat up going into that playoff. That's why they lost their last 5 games, really, before this victory over Kansas City. But yeah, it was not Lance Mel. It was not anybody on the New York Stock Exchange. We got 1:20 left to go. The other guy, I believe, was a running back, scored in garbage time. And the defensive player, it was an interception return, if that helps. I got to be honest, I didn't know his name until I did the research on this question. John Nolte says Greg Buttle. No, it was not Greg Buttle. Less than a minute on this one. Yeah, and then then I think we'll call tonight in a couple minutes because, like I said, I got to be up in 3 hours to drive up to Richmond to catch 2 airplanes. So I will be downtown Boston on Friday night, but all through Friday. By the way, I'll be in the North End doing a food tour up there. So hopefully, having a lot of pizza, some good Italian subs, some good local wine. Look forward to having some good Italian food. I'm actually doing the politically uncorrect tour of the North End. So I think that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I really, really do. And yeah, then running a 5K and I'm going to my college homecoming, by the way. That's really the reason for my trip. So Saturday I'll be at homecoming running a 5K. So see how that goes. Hopefully I'll run into some people that I know, but 20 years, you never really know. You never know who you might run into. Okay, guys, we've hit the 5-minute mark. John Nolte with we got a couple other guesses here. Daryl Ray, no. Lester Lyles, no. Both good guesses, but not the case in this one. All right, so let's go to the correct answers. So we had Freeman McNeil, we had Al Toon. The other answers are Kevin MacArthur had the interception return, and Billy, the running back, I believe, was running back. He scored the last touchdown of the game, I believe, in garbage time. So those were your the 4 Jets who scored touchdowns against Kansas City in that playoff game. All right, a couple other things here. Jets mess. Are you going to Shrewsbury? You know what, Mess? I've heard of Shrewsbury, but I'm not overly familiar with it. Shrewsbury. Yeah, I'm sure up in Massachusetts they say Shrewsbury, right? That is up near. You know what? I won't be far from there. I will be driving the Mass Turnpike, so I will be passing through Worcester. So I will be basically I'm flying into Hartford, going up to Springfield, then driving out to the North Shore. So I got to take the Mass Pike out there. So I will pass through there on the Mass Turnpike. I believe that. Actually, I think Shrewsbury is just north of the Mass Pike, so I won't be very far from Shrewsbury. Yeah, it won't be far at all. I might stop on the way around Worcester and get some lunch. We'll see how it all winds up going. Park the car, yeah, near Harvard Yard. I will definitely be doing that. Yeah, definitely got some good food places scoped out. They do a lot of things really weird up there. You got your steak tips, you got your scrod. That's what they're doing. Of course, you got the lobster, but you got the scrod and you got the baked haddock and all that kind of stuff. New England's got their own weird thing they do with seafood that's just bizarre. Yeah, down here in the Mid Atlantic, yeah, it's all I like it more with the crab cakes and the fried oysters and all that good stuff. Yeah, that stuff's good. Lobster, no, no, no. It's like, oh, you're going to order a lobster. Let me go to Home Depot and get you a toolbox. That's basically what it's like ordering. If I'm spending $45 on an entree, give me a good steak. Okay, that's me. Give me a big porterhouse steak. That's me. Or like a bone-in strip. That's kind of where I'm going. Pink. Cook it pink. All right. So that's yes, that's kind of my thoughts. So yeah, I might take some pictures if there's anything worth showing on next week's show. Maybe I'll drop something. We'll see. But I am hoping to watch the Jets Chiefs game with Joe, who's one of my best friends. He lives out near Hatfield. But the way that things are going right now, I don't really need the Tata Lovin with Travis and Taylor. So I don't know how much of that game we're really going to watch. I feel like I have to watch the game, but I got a feeling by the first half I'll pretty much want to put bamboo under my fingernails. It's going to just be so depressing. You should see the assault on Italian food down in Florida. You should try it in Virginia. It's not much better. I don't go out for Italian food where I live because, I say it fairly. I can make Italian food, better than I feel like most Italian restaurants can. When you go out to a restaurant, let's think about it. You're going to pay 3 times the price if they're pricing it out correctly, because you have the cost of the food, you have the labor, and you have the overhead. You got the gas, the electric, the insurance, all of that. So that's why it costs so much more to go out to eat. So if I'm going to go out to eat, and of course I'm on vacation, so it's a little bit different. I'm making a few more exceptions, but if I'm going to go out, especially locally, it's got to be worth my time. Like the atmosphere now has to be unique, but you better make whatever the dish is better than I could do it. I think it's a reasonable standard. If I'm paying 3 times more, I want it that much better than how I'm going to have it at home. So that's the whole thing. That's why I don't go out for steak a whole heck of a lot, because I just bust out my cast iron skillet, or I'll do nice and thick, do a reverse sear in the. I'll give you a quick steak tip, guys. Yeah, we can hang it just a few minutes later. I'll give you a good steak tip here. Let's get a good thick one, at least an inch thick. I'd recommend an inch and a half or so, and do a reverse sear. Now, I could do this on the grill. I can't grill where I live. I can't have an outdoor grill. So I just do it. I start it in the oven. I put it like on a rack, okay? And I go about 250 degrees, and I go for about 45 minutes, about 40 minutes or so, depending on the thickness. Now, you need a good meat thermometer to do this. But then while you're doing that, you've got your cast iron skillet in the bottom of the oven, so it's getting a little bit hot. Okay, so then you take the steak out when it's right around 110, right around there. Then you put the cast iron skillet with a pot holder on the stovetop, hot as it will go. Hot as it will go. Put a little bit of neutral oil, like avocado oil is what I use, or vegetable oil, and then just sear the steak like 2 minutes each side. So you get that crust, like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and you should have it right around 130 or so, right between medium rare and medium. Okay, but again, make sure you've got a good meat thermometer, like a Thermapen, something like that. And because you're cooking the steak slowly, it's nice and rosy pink all the way through. And then at the very end, you're just searing the very top. And you know what the advantage of that is? You don't have to wait for it to cool down because you cooked it slowly. So the juices don't have to really redistribute throughout the meat. So then you just cut right into it, like within a couple of minutes, and you have as perfectly tender steak as you can have. It takes a little bit of time, and you need a good meat thermometer, and you need a good thick steak, but I'm telling you, it is fantastic. It's probably my favorite way to cook a steak. It really is. So try a reverse sear one time, and you can do that on the grill as well, the indirect versus the direct heat too. So just a little tip there. All right, guys. Well, it's 11:03. I am going to have to shut this down because, like I said, I'm going to be up in 3 hours. But I will still be doing my videos throughout the week from the hotel room in Danvers, Massachusetts, on the North Shore of Boston. So, yeah, we'll be doing our game picks, our confidence picks. I'll be making my bold predictions, and I'll do my game preview video for Jets Chiefs between Thursday and probably Saturday. So watch for those. But I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair. Have a great night, everybody.